What's happening, everybody? Mike Stroud here at Murphy Farms Apartments. Man, in the round room, the turrets, man, we love this place. This is where we have our meetings for dignitaries and things like that. Appreciate Logan letting us use this place for all the different things that we're doing, because we're doing a lot of different events coming up in the new year here. And man, Murphy Farms is going to be our place for 5Ks and polar plunges and all different kinds of things. Kenzie's up there, man. She's always at the front desk, man, greeting you, ready to meet you, and we appreciate her. And so just a wonderful place out here. You guys know that. I want to just give you a quick update of everything that's going on in the county. Y'all seen some of the videos I've done this week, you know, with the Shell building we got over there at Cathy Road, the industrial park, you know, just really getting a pump in the arm. We've already got like 100 people wanting to get in that thing already from all over the country putting in requests. It's kind of like in business, you know, if you got something to sell, they're ready to buy it. If you don't have something for sale, you ain't gonna make no sales. And this building's really getting a shot in the arm for business, and really kind of show the people here in Burke County, man, the commissioners are all on the same page. They're moving forward, man. Even Hugh Blackwell, our representative, and Warren Daniels, you know, our state senator, stuff like that. They did things to really help things make this happen for us. And man, it's really good for our local area right here in Burke County, man. People got excited about it. There's a lot of people out there. So things are really starting to pop, man. You seen the things I was doing at the airport, the T-hanger. You know, we did that this week, you know, down there in Hickory. It's in Burke County, most of it. And so, man, we got things really coming to life here in Burke County, in our region. Things are really starting to grow. And, you know, in the midst of all that, the housing's coming. We got the Burke River Trail. You know, I've talked about Beth Hiley and all the things that she's done. Y'all see those posts with Beth Hiley. And, you know, the cool thing about the Burke River Trails, they're tying all these trails in western North Carolina and over to the Equestrian Center over there in Polk County and stuff like that. You know, this South Mountains, you know, we've got everything here. But those trails are going to have water and sewer right along the river there, that the states, so that we can get housing, you know, development along the rivers here, along these small towns, and it helps the region develop, and it helps people get in here, tax bases and all those things. People love the trails. They love nature's playground, and we've got it here in Burke County. That's the great thing. People coming from Hickory and Catawba and Caldwell and all this, coming into Burke County. We want them to spend their tax dollars here. Y'all know that. Everybody gets excited about the taxes and stuff. You know, I don't worry about that too much. Just like tithing. You know, I just pay my tithes, pay my taxes, and, you know, man, God brings increase, you know, and that's what it's all about. Don't worry about all those things. Sometimes people get caught up on those things. Let's get caught up on helping one another. You know, I've talked a lot about the foster children. You know, I've talked a lot about the churches. I addressed this over at the county commissioners meeting the other night, at the meeting we had here in town, just addressing the people. You know, we got all these kids, and we're a faith-based community. We're a God-fearing community. You know, most of the people are in that capacity. You know, not everybody. You know, the city's very diverse, but, you know, this is the Bible Belt. You know, we live in that kind of region. But everybody, just because you say you're a Christian, just because you say you're doing the work of God, don't mean you're really doing it. It might not be in your heart. And we got all these kids, and I'm challenging the churches, hey, the county's going all in. We've got programs set up to try to help take care of these kids. We got people coming in that's what they do. And not saying you got to foster, that's a hard thing to take on. But you can reach in your pocket and you can give $20 from your church and say, our pastor, my church, whatever, we're going to give at least this. We're going to give 100. We're going to take people out. We're going to give them a break so these people that are trying to do the fostering can do it. You ain't got to do it, but we can all do it collectively. So I've been giving that challenge out to the churches, because I don't think until we got our kids on lockdown, you know, it ain't going to work. So we got to really put our, you know, money where our mouth is. We say we're doing all these things. We say we love God, but then we let our kids go to the cracks. I don't like it. And so I'm trying to encourage all the churches and everybody, let's get involved, get behind us. You know, we're doing our part, and it comes down to the faith-based community on a lot of things. Everything that we see in our society a lot of times comes down to faith in God, or trusting God, or looking to God. You know, we're in life going along just like everybody else has before us. You know, we're on a timeline. We're Bible characters in today's modern history. You know, we're living it out. You know, they're up there in heaven looking down going, man, what's going on down there today? You know, and they're excited. They're praying for us. You know, the good forces are working for us to build our city, to build our kids. That's what it's all about, is saving our nation, saving our kids, saving one another. But it takes us not just talking about it, we got to be involved. And we got things that are set up in place where we can get involved. So those are some of the challenges I'm putting out, even to the churches, you know. Now, we're not just trying to build everything on the church, but, you know, your morals have got to be part of everything you're doing. You say separation of church and state, and that's a real thing. Y'all know me. I've been doing ministry for 40 years. I ain't got time for politics or religion. You know, the church about killed me. You know, at the same time it saved me. You know, same way with politics, man. They can about kill you and they can save people. So you got to have the right heart, and that comes only from the Heavenly Father. I don't know how else to say it, you know. Everything that's been set up's been set up by His authority. And, you know, if you're doing good, you ain't got to worry about nothing. If you're doing bad, just like it says in Romans in 12th and 13th chapter, you know, God set the authorities up. If you're doing bad, here comes the long arm of the law. They're going to take care of it. But that's really what it's all about. It's really just kind of coming together collectively and doing things good together. You know, you ain't got to, so many people in our world, they don't care about God. That's okay. You know, I remember in the story of Paul, you know, when he was on the one island, I can't remember where it was at. It might have been in my Yanni's, my videographer's hours. It might have been Cyprus. What's the island there? I can't even think. But Paul was there, and they had all the signs of all the gods. This might have been Greece. Y'all, I'm getting mixed up here. Some of you read the Bible, man, it's fascinating. But, you know, it's in there. Cyprus. Thank you, brother. But, you know, they had all the signs, you know, of all the gods that they worship. And we're like that today, man. We got so much stuff going on in our life. We got idols everywhere. Our cars, our profile page, our YouTube pages, our Instagrams, you know, our lifestyle. We do this, we look like this, but the whole time we're depressed. You know, how are we going to pay our bills? You know, do they like me? Do they not like me? You know, God likes you. But I remember that, all those different gods. But Paul, there was one on there to the unknown God. You know, and, you know, sometimes you might not believe all the things, all the people around you that go to church, they might get on your nerves. You know, church people can get on your nerves. They get on my nerves. They got on Jesus' nerves. You know, God at one point, man, He wanted to get rid of all of us. He told Moses, man, I'm ready to deal with, I get rid of all these people. I ain't got time for these people. You know, they're aggravating me because we're so grumble, gripe, and complain. That's all we do. Look around you. How much are you grumbling, griping, and complaining? We could be in a war-torn country right now. We could be running for our lives. I mean, look over there in the Middle East, just what everything they've done over in Gaza. You know, our world is divided, and you see all this tragedy and all this pain, and kids walking around in rubble, and, you know, they ain't going home to sleep in the bed and sit and watch Netflix and the air conditioning, pass me a Nabisco's chocolate chip cookie or whatever. You know, it breaks my heart. As Americans, sometimes we're so desensitized to the world around us. We get so caught up in all the glamorization and the Hollywood of what we're trying to be, and the whole time people are lost inside. Man, they're walking around like zombies, and they're saying, you know, God, there's got to be more than this. There's got to be more goodness than this. There's got to be more kindness than this. What are we doing here? We're so at odds with one another. We try to shout past one another. You know, a lot of times in the church it's like that. A lot of times in politics like that. You know, down in that one country, what was that? The girls were pulling each other's hair. You know, can you imagine that? You know, over here, you know, here locally, yeah, they were fighting, you know, some of the commissioners. We don't have that problem here in Burke County, but we're trying to do things right, man. We ain't got time for craziness. You know, we're trying to do things good. You know, Christ went about doing good and healing all that were oppressed of the devil. And that's what we should be doing. He played with the kids. He loved the kids to come around him. That's the way I am. I think that's part of our problem is kids don't have recess no more. We're just putting all this knowledge in them. You know, they got the phones and all that kind of stuff. They're all left brain. We're all like that. We're all got our phones. We're addicted. We need to get out in the field, get outside and do things together. Do collectively. I'm telling them things here, even in the schools. I'm working with the schools, and man, we get ready to do some showcases things here at Murphy Farms, down here over at Western Piedmont Community College with Dr. Joel Welch and Mackenzie Adams and all those things. We're getting ready to do some things for the community in the spring, man, some band competitions, some drum lines, man, where, you know, get the whole community involved and see all these things and get excited, build each other up, encourage one another, get the kids out there rolling in the field. We went to the J. Iverson Riddle Parade. I love that because it's a big parade laid out. All the patients over there, all the clients over there, special people over there working over there, our state people that are working, helping kids that are in these kind of capacities, anybody. But yet they do this parade, man, in this big laid out place, man, where the kids can roll in the grass or out there playing. Man, that was just wonderful to me. I see that. People need a jubilee. They need a reset. We need a reset here in our world. And it's right here. All we got to do is press into it. All we got to do is look up and say, hey, God, help us, man. Save us, Lord. And He will. He's wanting to. He loves us. He's trying to get around us and behind us so we can raise our children up so they can see something better. You know, we're not supposed to be walking around as zombies on our phones. Man, we're supposed to be out there, man, making things, building our cities, building our lives, building community, breaking bread with one another, helping one another, fixing the fence lines, walking, cutting the grass, all that kind of stuff. But let's do it together. Get the kids out there. That's why I keep telling them, let's get out there and let's have a kite day. We'll fly kites over here in the valley. Let's get out there and let's do a treasure hunt. I'll buy $200 worth of pennies. You know, they're not worth anything anymore. And I'll just throw them out there and we'll just let everybody go out there and find quarters, nickels, and dimes, silver dollars. Do anything. Just do something with the kids. Entertain the kids. Get down there in the grass with them, roll with them, laugh with them, wrestle with them. Man, we got to save our kids, man. They got to see something from us adults. And a lot of us adults are walking around, man, we're numb too. We're numb from society. I'm reading this book by Lieutenant Colonel Scott Mann, and it's called No One's Coming to Save You. I love this because that's what I've been saying all the time, man. The government's not coming, the roads ain't coming, the money's not coming, nobody's got any money, what you gonna do? And he wrote this book, and it's a Green Beret's guide to getting big shit done. And man, I said, woo, that's me, man. I read the first chapter, man, I'm hooked. The churn, you guys have got to get this book, man. The first part of it's written by Mike Rowe. He does the, dirty job, stuff like that. You know, y'all know Mike Rowe. Powerful man. You know, we love all the trades and that kind of stuff. But, you know, it's trying to get everybody on the same page. You know, and this book talks about how they were in these places like Afghanistan, you know, and they're there to build community, get these people to trust them, work with them, you know, and they got to know that they trust them because they're in volatile situations, hostile situations. And we've got to do the same way. It not only in warfare, it's warfare here in America. He said he's seen it over there, and he got all those people on the same page, and he come back here, and it seems like, man, our own country's at odds with one another. We're shouting past one another, talking over one another. People can't sit down and just converse with one another. We've seen this all over the news. This is nothing new, but the simplicity answer to it and the question that we keep asking is, hey man, how do we fix this? And the simple way to fix it is just break bread with one another. Just help one another. Friends are better than enemies. I always think about that movie. I can't even think of the name of it now. It's the Knights of the Round Table. Who's those guys? What's the King Arthur and Knights of the Round Table? That recent movie. Watch that, you know. And there's always enemies. But, you know, why be enemies when we can be friends? That's why we know that there's an enemy out there. Everybody keeps talking about everything that's going on. Why does this keep happening? Why do we kill one another? Why do we hate one another? Why are we fighting against one another? Because there's an enemy. There's always going to be wars and rumors of wars. Jesus said there's going to be pestilence until He comes back. You know, until the devil's put in prison. Now remember, we got jails here for bad people. You know, well, we got to get the spiritual kingpin. You know, and when the Lord comes back, we're going to be fighting Him in the sky. I mean, Armageddon. Man, read Revelation. Revelation's an incredible book, man. You might not understand everything, but your spirit will just get excited from reading it. You know, because it's the revelation of Jesus Christ. And man, it talks about when He comes back, man, all the armies are right there, man. And we're still battling. You know, you're probably going to think it's Elon coming back with spaceships or something. You know, there's Elon, man, let's get him, you know, whatever. You know, we're like that. We're so dumb, you know. We get at odds with one another in families, in schools and things like that, in religion, in politics. All the churches are divided. All the cities are kind of divided. But just imagine if we can come together in unity and work together, build together with our kids, build together, break bread with one another, get trust with one another. We're not, you know, what do we need from one another? We don't need much. People just want dignity. They want their dignity. They want to know that they can take care of themselves, have the money, the finances and the things they need. And that's what I'm all about. You know, there's no agenda for me, man. I'm good, man. We eat daily bread every day, and we don't have lots and lots of things and those kinds of things, but we got more faith and more favor than anybody because we're blessed. And if you got that, man, you're blessed. But in the meantime, God wants to move in our life, and I believe that He's using us to do it with finances, man. Nobody's got finances, but I believe there's going to be some breakthroughs so that we can encourage people. Everybody's needing that money, so to speak, and nobody's got any, but we can create it, we can make it, and that's what I'm all about, is just trying to bring everybody together. Let's go all in on together, go all in on our kids, go all in our finances, throw off all the tags and the labels, and man, let's get on board together and watch what can take place. And we're doing that over here at Murphy Farms, man. Y'all know me. I'm all about Broughton Reimagined, North Carolina School for the Math and Science, the Deaf School, Western Piedmont, the Ag Center. It's all right here, 800 acres, right on Interstate 40. Man, right here at Morganton, man. We're just going to clean it up. We're going to make it. It's going to be something for everybody. We got Biltmore right here at Broughton, but we're going to do it for family. We're going to do it for our families right here so people can enjoy right here locally. Take care of your place wherever you're at locally. You might be watching this, man. It doesn't matter where you're at. Find your spot. Find your assignment. Find your place and plug in there and make a difference, man. We're going to change the world right here locally. So take care of your local place. Take care of your family, your loved ones. Take care of one another. Don't worry about the national news, the national narratives. All that's fine and good, but hey, tune in to local and just know your neighbor, work together, support one another. We're not always going to agree. I mean, that's okay. Just because we're black and white and we got different churches and stuff like that, don't mean we all got to go to the same church. Dear God Almighty. I mean, it's just like our mouth, Mexican, Hispanic, Asian. Man, enjoy all the flavors of food and each other, man. There's somebody out there that's different than you. If you would just step back and introduce yourself and ask them what they're about, I guarantee you'd have a new friend. Hey, I love you. It's Mike Stroud, we're at Murphy Farms Apartment. Appreciate everybody that's working here in our county, doing all the things. We got such a great team of county officials and people and municipalities. Everybody's moving in the right directions. We've had some hiccups, but I'm telling you, it's getting moving better. It's getting better and better every day. I love you. God bless you.